Um, this is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk. This is also Healing House Radio, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. And if you haven't been having a wonderful week, I'm sorry. I know that sometimes weeks can get very busy and they can get very challenging. So I wish you the best absolute possible end of your week and a wonderful weekend. So as we broadcast simultaneously on Blog Talk Radio and also on YouTube, if you have any comments that you would like any questions you have to ask me, if you're on Blog Talk Radio, then I won't be able to get to your questions, and still not quite clear on how I can actually take calls and do Facebook at the same time. So if you do have any questions, please, you can go to either the YouTube page and put in a comment there, or you can go to the Facebook page and I will return those comments as quickly as I can. Or if it's a topic that you'd like me to cover, then I can address it on the next show. So, hi everyone. This has been another one of those like really sort of kind of crazy weeks. I finished my play that I was in, Death Trap, and that was a lot of fun. And I'm finding that out of all the New Year's resolutions that I've made, that this is actually one of the most fun ones. And the resolution I made was to find something that I could do that was completely separate from the other things I do, and that I could just kind of have fun with for me. And so when I was young, I really enjoyed the idea of acting and all of that. So I ended up, getting connected to a local small theater group. And so I've been having a good time. I've done 2 plays, and we're about to start on our 3rd, which is really going to be a lot of fun. My Dinner with Andrea, based on My Dinner with Andre. So I'll be releasing information about that later. So I've been, just kind of going in a lot of different directions. We're still working on, the structural pieces of the office. And there are times when life can get a little bit extraordinary. The reason that I use that term is that I recently saw a poster, and it said that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a little something extra. I was really touched by that phrase because it's true. And caught up in the ordinary and in the routines and in what we're doing that we forget that there's a really extraordinary piece to even the most ordinary everyday life. When I wrote my book Frequencies, I was, one of the things that I put into it was that it was an event that turned my extraordinarily ordinary life to an ordinarily extraordinary one. So that was probably one of the most special things and the most special gifts that I've ever gotten from spiritual work and working in different indigenous practices. And I've received so many gifts, but I think the best one that I ever got was turning my extraordinarily ordinary life, because I had a very extraordinarily ordinary life. Wife, mother, just kind of taking care of things, taking care of people. That was my ordinary life. My perception of my life completely changed. And now it seems that what is status quo for me is things that are extraordinary. Because I look for the extraordinary. I learned that it's sitting there, it's just you may not notice it. You may not notice a truly special part of your life that, is just there and has become sort of a part of the background. In a place that hummingbirds collect in your garden every day. And that is a really, really cool thing. Or maybe you have a neighbor who is a concert pianist, and you get to hear them perform or hear them practice. Maybe your house has the perfect view of the most amazing sunset. Maybe there's someone who has been there for a really long time and is just so comfortable to be with. Someone who totally gets you, someone who totally understands you. And that's a tremendously cool thing. That is something that allows us to be able to notice, wow, there's something very special out there. I love what I do. I love my work. I love helping people on different levels with issues of body, mind, and spirit. And it's something that I realize I've always wanted to do. And yet there are days when, I can feel tired. And often that's a sign that I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not doing what I need to do to make sure that I'm okay. So when I am able to that, and when things start feeling a little too ordinary, when things start feeling a little too routine, I get up, walk the dog, come home, get ready for work, go to work, do my job, come back home, and feed the animals, and relax a little bit, and then go to bed. And my life just kind of would go into that pattern. And now that I have, rehearsals that I get to go to, that changes up the schedule a little bit. And when I recently I reconnected with someone who had been a really cool part of my life, and for many years we really hadn't had much contact, and she called me up, so I had a chance to go and see her, and that was just so awesome. And and it's like, no, we're getting together more often and actually meaning it. And that was a really extraordinary part, because my relationship with her had been there the whole time, or the potential for it. It's just, we fell out of contact. And time moves by really fast. And the next thing you know, it's years, and you haven't talked to somebody who really means the world to you. And it's that person who you keep saying, yeah, I really have to get a hold of them. I really have to connect with them. And then you don't. And that is an extraordinary piece. When you have someone who, when you just sit down and you can laugh and you can hang out together, that's a very special thing. Now, there's nothing wrong with ordinary, and there's a lot of safety in ordinary. And remember, there's light and shadow in everything. So when you consider what is it that are the good things, ordinary means, nothing bizarre or weird is happening. Ordinary means that things are fairly stable. Ordinary means that things are in a way, say, in a space that's very consistent. So, surprises can be good and surprises can be not so good. That ordinary is something that you can do and you can be, and it's a perfectly wonderful thing. It's just, remember, there's little sprinkles of extraordinary in there, and not to overlook them, because it's very easy when we get caught in a routine that we overlook the extraordinary. We overlook that beautiful sunset that, our front porch or our back porch seems to be a perfect view for. We kind of lose track of those wonderful people in our lives that maybe we haven't talked to in a while. But still, even when we think about them, we think about, oh man, that trouble we used to get into, or, the cool moments that you had together. Realizing that sometimes can get tiring. You love your job, you love your work. Or maybe inside of you, there's a book that's waiting to be written. Maybe there's that thing that you've always wanted to do when, you started thinking about your bucket list, and there were things on it like, I really would love to do that. The ability to do those things, the ability to even think about those things and have them raise your spirits a little bit, that is extraordinary. The ordinary is cool, and so is the extraordinary. The trick is finding a balance between them. I mean, it's a little bit tiresome when your world is just constantly boom, 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 and you're constantly running and you're constantly moving, and you know, one adventure after another. And while that can be cool, we need quiet. There are times when we need settled. There are times when it is a good thing. And wherever you fall on that spectrum, however you look at your life, as, you know, it's like, you know what, because I know folks who are perfectly content. They have finished all their adventures. They've done all the stuff that they want to do. They have been able to, you know, sow their wild oats, and they reach a point in their lives, it's like, you know what, I just want to go out, pick up the paper in the morning, you know, read it in the morning, you know, go to my job, do my thing. Yeah, I'm okay with no more adventures. I'm okay with just a nice, easygoing life. And if that's what you embrace, I love it for you. And if you've been going along and you know, every once in a while you find yourself daydreaming about, you know what, maybe I could go to Hawaii, or maybe I could go to Europe. Wanted to go on an African safari, or I've always wanted to, you know, go look at the temples in the Yucatan. Yeah, you can do that too. It's figuring out the balance between the two. It doesn't have to be so end-to-end extraordinary that you wear yourself out, you burn yourself out. You know, yeah, you can live for today and tomorrow and the next day and the next. It doesn't have to be an either or thing. And sometimes I've talked with a lot of people who want to do something in their lives. And it's like, and then they'll say something they want to do, and then they start counting off all the reasons that they can't. And it's like, well, you know, but I have these responsibilities, and I need to do this, and I need to take care of that, and, you know, these folks are depending on me, or I need to make sure my job is covered. So, yeah, you know, in that case, if you've got a lot of stuff, if you're a caregiver, yeah, it might be a bit tricky to just drop everything and fly off somewhere. You can bring in the extraordinary in almost a very ordinary way. You can, you know, maybe you don't go to, you know, England, but you go to maybe a Shakespeare festival, or you go to a, you know, go to a pub, an old English pub, and have, you know, like a typical English meal. And I've been to England, and oh my God, the food is so good. Anybody who says the food there is not good, I don't know that experience, because it was really great. And, you know, you can bring in a little piece of extraordinary. Do something that's a little bit different. Take a sanity day. And, you know, if you have responsibilities, yeah, you can arrange for someone to help out. If you're a caregiver, you know, I'm sure there's lots of people around you want to be able to help and say, you know what, would you be able to help out and watch this person for an afternoon? You know, I'm going to go to a museum. I'm going to go treat myself to lunch. I'm going to go get a mani-pedi. I'm going to go and just have some time to myself. I'm going to go to a tea garden and sit, or, you know, whatever it is that you'd like to do. Pick little ways to put the extra in the ordinary. And it's amazing how easy that can be. You know, decide you're going to spend a day in your pajamas. Have breakfast for dinner. That was something we used to love when I was younger. Or just, you know, eat dessert first, whatever you'd like to do. Whatever brings that extra. Because the thing is, the something extra, that in. You know, it may not be there ordinarily, but, or at least it may not be noticeable ordinarily. To be able to bring in that extra, it might take a little bit of work. It might take a little bit of effort. And it's worth it. because you're worth it. You are worth the effort. You are worth extraordinary. You deserve extraordinary, at least some of the time. And by bringing in that little bit of extra, it can make a world of difference, especially if things are weighing on you. And if they are, I'm sorry. If you're carrying, there's a lot of people who I've been talking to lately who just are carrying a lot. And whether it's things out in the world or things within them or in their families or relationships or their work, it seems to be right now there's a lot of people who are, kind of having a little bit of a tough time. It's okay to go through that and recognize it and just say, okay, well, I'm kind of in the dark and stinky right now. What can I do to make this a little bit easier for myself? What can I do? And it may be that, you need to get a little bit of help with that. You can. And I really encourage you to. If your world feels like it's been a little too ordinary, find something to put into it that will make it extraordinary. Find something that will bring that sparkle back into your eye. Maybe it's taking an art class. Maybe it's going out and playing miniature golf because you haven't in years. Maybe it's both still love to do. Maybe it's going to a concert with the music from your generation. I mean, for me, if I went to a concert, it'd be like, bands from the 70s and 80s. That would be a really cool thing. And I could be surrounded by my fellow, oldsters, and and if you're offended by that, it's okay. You can embrace whatever title you want. But for my peer groups, and we can go out there and just enjoy it, and you can scream and yell and cheer. Or if you can't get out, how about you pull up one on YouTube and you watch a concert for a group that you've always enjoyed. You can turn out all the lights and make it kind of a real thing, and hold up a cigarette lighter if you want. But whatever it is that can help you to move forward out of the ordinary into the extraordinary, it doesn't take a lot. And the thing is, once you do it once, it starts to become a habit. And hi. She says she can't seem to relate to ordinary, mundane, and routine. Seems to me that it would be categorized as a waste of time unless I just chalk it up to R&R. Yes, it is an excellent R&R to be able to, just have quiet time, because that way the extraordinary is that much more special if we do have some ordinary in our lives. Because if everything's extraordinary, what is it that you're moving towards? What is the new thing? And because, as I say, my life is now ordinarily extraordinary. I've got a lot that I consider extraordinary in my life. And it may be that other people might not consider it that way. Because also remember, ordinary and extraordinary are sort of, that's kind of objective or subjective. You can figure out what, jumping out of a plane, tandem jump, skydiving. To some, that might actually be considered, oh, really? You did a tandem jump? You didn't fling yourself out of an airplane in one of those flight suits and, soar for miles? No, I just basically went up and came down. And to some, that would be considered unbelievably extraordinary. So when we have those times, you can have extraordinary resting times. You can have extraordinarily peaceful and quiet times. And, the ordinary allows us to realize just how special those extraordinary times are. And it is, there's so much in the world. There's magic to everything. There is something special to every single day of your life. Every single breath you take is a gift. It is something that, we breathe in and out every single day. But if you were to hold your breath for a while, and even though you could start breathing at any minute, there's that, oh, I'm not breathing, I'm not breathing, I'm not breathing, breath, and you suck that breath in, and for that split second, it's amazing. It's like, or if you've been swimming and you're swimming underwater, and you're coming up, and you're holding your breath, and just when you think you can't hold it anymore, you break the surface and you take that deep breath in. How awesome is that breath? How extraordinary is that breath? Because you're totally present to it. And that's one of the main things of the extraordinary. It is different enough that we are totally present to it, present to each moment, present to each inspiration, present to each thought and each emotion we're in. And maybe you have an extraordinarily sad moment, but you're totally present to it. And as long as you have somebody there to support you in it, just go with it. Because sometimes there are sad times. And yet, we can still appreciate the beauty of being supported, of the extraordinary friendship, the extraordinary love that we receive and that people show us. A lot. It doesn't take winning the lottery to bring something extraordinary into your life. It doesn't take, giving up everything and going and moving up onto a mountaintop to have a bit of extraordinary in your life. It doesn't take, whatever you're telling yourself is the reason why you can't do things, why you can't, go for the gusto or seize life. Carpe diem, seize the day. Whatever it is that's keeping you from it, that's not really there. It's sort of an illusion. Look past it. Find the little things that are extraordinary. Because all it takes to turn ordinary to extraordinary is a little something extra. And what that little something extra is up to you to find. And if you can't find it, ask. Talk to somebody, talk to that friend that you hadn't seen in a long time. And figure out, what, I feel like I need to do something. And I have a lot of people who come and talk to me and say, what, I feel like I need to do something, but I don't know what. You can figure it out. Just stop thinking so much. Think of whatever the first thing off the top of your head that you'd like to do. And maybe it's you haven't expelled energy. Maybe you've got a lot of energy built up inside you and you need something, explosive and something that'll let you just let that energy out. Maybe it's going horseback riding. Maybe it's going to that concert and coming back without the ability to talk because you've been singing and cheering all night long. Maybe go to a sporting event for a team that you really like. Whatever it is that needs that expression. Or maybe you've had energy going out so much that you need quiet time. So you find that quiet moment by a river, or you find that love of music, soft music or art, or that pajama day or breakfast for dinner. Whatever it is that brings that little bit of extraordinary in for you. Go with it. Embrace it. Allow it to happen. Allow it to be. Don't just figure out all the ways that it can't work. Consider that it's going to happen, then it just becomes a matter of how. It becomes logistics. Bring that little sprinkling of extraordinary in, because it is just a little something extra. And it's your extra, and you deserve it, and you have a right to it, and I want it for you. I believe in you. See, the shirt. Believe in yourself. And believe in your little something extra. And it may seem goofy. Maybe you want to spend the day watching the cartoons that you loved when you were a kid. And that's a beautiful thing about the internet. Pretty much you can find almost anything anywhere, including those great old cartoons. Maybe you just want to spend the day in your pajamas watching cartoons. Do it. It doesn't take a lot. All it takes is for you to believe that, one, you deserve it, and two, it's possible. Go turn your ordinary into extraordinary. Because honestly, life is way too short not to. At least not to have a few extraordinary moments. Because, that's what allows us to move through the ordinary, knowing that every once in a while we're going to have that awesome extraordinary. So, thank you for joining me. And thank you for all those who are on Blog Talk Radio. If you would like to actually see me, you can go to YouTube and go to Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. And if you would like to contact me, you can do so. The easiest way is through Facebook. And you can join our Facebook group, which is Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. And you can comment there, and you can also comment on any of the videos that are archived. And if you do, I promise I will comment back. And if you would like, you can like this video. You can share it if you have any questions or comments. And also subscribe, because I would love to be able to get to know you a little bit better. And so when you subscribe, also go to the little bell, and you can click that, and the notification, it will notify you whenever we have anything that comes up, whether it's a live stream or, well, it's an off-schedule live stream. I mean, it's all live stream. But sometimes, I may be doing something a little bit extra, so it will notify you when that comes up. If you would like to support this channel, then you can log on to Patreon, and the link is right in the descriptions, and you can sponsor. And it doesn't take much to sponsor, and for those that choose to, and it's about growing the community. And whether or not you do, it's okay. I'm so happy that you come and join me each week. And we're coming up on a year. Next month it'll be a year that I've been doing YouTube, and it will be 6 years that I've been doing the Blog Talk Radio. So thank you. I mean, thank you from my heart, because I believe in each and every one of you. I am proud of you. Whether I've ever met you or not, I'm proud of you. Be there, and you're doing what you do, and you're making life better for somebody. There's somebody who is doing real well in body, mind, or spirit because you're there. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you. So, thank you for joining me. And I will see you again next week. Next Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, as always, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you. Bye.